The Kansas City Chiefs have re-signed tight end Noah Gray to a 3-year, $18 million extension, and I've got 5 thoughts on this subject. But real quick, guys, if you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Kansas City Chiefs are the only thing that I talk about on the channel, with daily Kansas City Chiefs news, analysis, and opinion for 600 plus days consecutively. And if you want to help me out, hitting the like button tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. Now let's get into it. The Kansas City Chiefs have re-signed tight end Noah Gray, extended, I guess is the correct term, Noah Gray, who... That's the number one thought. Who is Noah Gray? He was selected in the 5th round of the 2021 draft, 162nd overall. He's 6'3", 240 pounds, so he's a little bit undersized. He is a tight end H-back type guy, not a straight-up tight end type guy. He ran a 4.6 40. That's a decent number. He had a 4.45 20-yard short shuttle. That's a pretty good number. A 6.90 three-cone drill. That's a pretty good number. A 35-inch vertical, 9'7" broad jump, and 15 reps on the bench press with 225 pounds. These are all decent numbers, but nothing to write home about. Then we get into his production. In 2021, as a rookie, he played 289 snaps with 280 special team snaps. In that season, he had just 10 targets from Patrick Mahomes with 7 receptions for 36 yards and a touchdown. In his sophomore campaign in the NFL 2022, he played 597 snaps and 282 special team snaps. So his offensive plays doubled. He had 34 targets, 3.5 times the targets he had before, 28 receptions, 4 times the receptions that he had as a rookie, 299 yards, and a touchdown. And then last season, he played 592 snaps, slightly less than in his sophomore campaign, 219 special team snaps, again, fewer than his sophomore campaign, but he garnered 41 targets, 28 receptions, the exact same number, but 305 yards, 6 more yards on the season, and an additional touchdown for 2 touchdowns. He is not a primary target in this offense. He is a guy, however, that the Chiefs have found themselves relying on from time to time. In the first game of the 2024 season against the Ravens, he caught 3 passes on 3 targets for 37 yards, coming up big in that game when there were big moments to be had. 2 first downs and 3 receptions, I believe it was. So the question is, what are we talking about here? A 3-year extension for $18 million. There are $10.1 million guaranteed in this deal. That is $6 million per year. You may find yourself asking, well, wait a minute, didn't the Kansas City Chiefs just sign Hollywood Brown to a 1-year, $7 million deal? He is a guy who has had a 1,000-yard receiving season. Yes, that is true. But Hollywood Brown was in a precarious predicament with the future of his NFL career after several seasons of diminishing returns, and he is looking for 1 year with Patrick Mahomes to prove that he is the high end of what it was that he had done in the NFL and not the growing slump that he had played through. So here we have Noah Gray, a guy who has never had anywhere close to 1,000 yards, but has proven himself to be instrumental to the Kansas City Chiefs offense matriculating down the field. He's making $1.055 million salary this season, but he has a $2.7 million cap hit. Next season, with this extension, in 2025, he will earn 4.6, basically doubling what it is that he earns this season. Going forward after that, in 2026 and in 2027, he will be earning $7 million a year. However, there is a potential out after this season where it would not cost the Chiefs too terribly much to cut ties with Noah Gray, but I don't see that happening. I think that this deal is not terribly overpriced for what you're paying on a guy in free agency who's going to come in and contribute. And what we've seen with the Chiefs lately is they're trying to get in ahead of ultimate swells at position. So you've, yes, re-signed Creed Humphrey to the biggest deal in the NFL for a center, but that's just going to be redone beforehand or afterwards. Someone this offseason is going to sign likely a bigger deal than Creed Humphrey, and the Chiefs will have the best center in football for all of these years at a less than top of the market price. That is what Brett Veach and these Kansas City Chiefs are doing time and again. So they're getting top talent for top dollar before top dollar has inflated. So the question has to be raised, is this a bad sign? I don't know why I have an S there. Is this a bad sign for Jared Wiley? The physically impressive rookie tight end just played 11 offensive snaps and saw no special teams snaps or offensive targets in the Week 1 win versus Baltimore. I would urge, however, caution against using this to believe that Wiley is already being identified as a bust. But the signs aren't promising either. Jared Wiley had 1 reception for 3 yards versus the Bears this preseason. In the preseason game before that, he had 1 reception for 6 yards against the Lions, and before that, the first preseason game this year, 2 receptions for 5 yards against the Jaguars. Not great signs for Jared Wiley. However, I do think he has the talent necessary to thrive in the NFL. But that said, there are all sorts of players, all sorts of years that come in with the talent to thrive and simply do not. Jared Wiley, should he not pan out, the re-signing of Noah Gray gives them a consistent, legitimate number 2 tight end. However, I don't think Noah Gray has any claim on the starting tight end position, so long as Travis Kelce is here, obviously. But even after that, I don't know that we have seen Noah Gray compete to the level that you would want to see someone compete in order to say that is a starting tight end in the NFL. He has not produced to that level. He has not flashed to that level. I think he's in a similar position to Justin Watson. Justin Watson, not a number 1 wide receiver, not a number 2 wide receiver. You're probably in trouble a little bit if he's your 3rd wide receiver, but if he's your 4th wide receiver, he's a good wide receiver. If he's your 5th wide receiver, you're in great shape. Noah Gray strikes me in that same fashion. I don't think you want to have your offense relying on him in a snap-to-snap situation, but as a backup tight end, you're in good shape. If you can find some way that Jared Wiley transcends the depth chart above Noah Gray, your 3rd tight end being Noah Gray puts you in great shape. It's a little expensive for a number 3 tight end, but the Kansas City Chiefs, like I said in the earlier video today, the rookie recap video for the Kansas City Chiefs, which you should check out if you have not, going over all of the rookies that played in the Week 1 game versus the Ravens. The Chiefs have built through the draft. That's a great thing, but at some point you have to re-sign those picks. You have 4 years on a player selected in the 2nd through 7th round. You have 3 years on UDFA. The Kansas City Chiefs have quite a few UDFA that are contributing to them. And you have 4, potentially 5 seasons on a number 1 draft pick. So having to re-sign these players, they're going up in contract value, contract numbers quite a bit, but so will everyone around them in the NFL. So if you're signing a veteran, you're going to be paying pretty much top dollar as well. The number 4 thought that I have here, the Chiefs seem to love having 4 tight ends on the roster. Travis Kelce will be one of those 4 tight ends as long as he wishes to remain a Kansas City Chief. A long-term contract for Noah Gray, as well as the 4-year rookie contract on Jared Wiley, allows the Chiefs comfort of mind at tight end so long as Travis Kelce is steadfast in his desire to be the greatest tight end ever. This will allow the Chiefs time to figure out other positions moving forward. Noah Gray puts a very high floor on the position. He's a good number 2 tight end. If Travis Kelce returns next season and Jared Wiley, I still think he could pass Noah Gray on the depth chart. If Jared Wiley passes Noah Gray on the depth chart, he still has that rookie contract at the position. He is still on a cheap deal for the Kansas City Chiefs. And that fourth tight end, I don't know what Hendershot's contract looks like at this time, but I don't think he's around after this season necessarily. Should they decide to re-sign him, obviously they can, but this would allow the Chiefs the opportunity to draft another tight end should the right guy fall to them, but they don't have to go get one. I think that Jared Wiley was acquired because the Chiefs felt a little bit that they had to go get a guy. Having the security, the safety blanket of Noah Gray re-signed to this contract, in my opinion, puts a high floor at the position and allows flexibility with the other two spots or three should Travis Kelce at some point decide to retire. Maybe he'll play until he's 45. We don't know, but there is versatility at the position because you've got different types of tight ends, and there is safety at the position because you know you have Travis Kelce as long as he wants to play, Noah Gray for the next 3 seasons, and Jared Wiley for the next 3 seasons after this year as well. The number 5 thought that I have here about this re-signing is this. The Chiefs are taking care of things one by one on their own time. The Chiefs knew that they had to get a deal done with Creed Humphrey. They went out, figured out the numbers, got the deal done with Creed Humphrey before the season even started. He never became a free agent. He won't be a free agent until after. He would not have been a free agent until after this season. Noah Gray is not a starter, but he's a guy that the Chiefs organization has come around to liking. He contributes on special teams. He has a very high floor as a tight end, and they signed him right before the first game of the season, allowing them flexibility on that roster. But also, the Chiefs are looking at the contracts of Trey Smith, who is a free agent at the end of the season, and Nick Bolton, who is a free agent at the end of this season. Trey Smith, in my opinion, is going to be a priority for this team. Should they be able to make the numbers work? And should they be able to tell through the course of this season that neither Hunter Nourzad nor CJ Hansen are potential replacements for Trey Smith? You're getting to the position where you have a lot of money invested in that offensive line. You're able to draft starters on the offensive line later in the draft, and especially at the guard position, as evidenced by, ironically, Trey Smith himself. So I don't think Trey Smith is as high a priority as was Creed Humphrey. However, I do think that Trey Smith is a higher priority than Noah Gray. However, you know approximately what kind of numbers you have for what positions to be able to spend. What we have seen from Brett Veach, heard from Brett Veach time and time again, is he does not reference the draft class that he just drafted. He does not reference the free agent class that he just signed. He will reference the next one coming and the one after that. This is a guy with his eye on the long term. So knowing what kind of budget he has for the tight end position, he was able to assess the fact that so long as we re-sign Noah Gray and we do it at these numbers, we have an idea of what it is that we can spend other places. If this tight end position is allotted more money than they had spent on Noah Gray here, that is the penny pinching from here and there that you have to do in order to retain some of your better talents. We also have seen, so Trey Smith, I think, is the next priority. You will have money that is vacated from the roster this season by Hollywood Brown ostensibly going somewhere else, allowing Rashee Rice to be that number 1, allowing Xavier Worthy to be that number 2. So the next guy on that list is Nick Bolton. We've seen Nick Bolton is physically limited. That Isaiah Likely play was Keystone Cops type stuff, where Isaiah Likely caught the ball in front of Nick Bolton, turned around, tied his shoes, decided to run, and Nick Bolton was standing there. I'm a big fan of Nick Bolton. Nick Bolton does not make those mistakes often. Nick Bolton does make those mistakes occasionally. Nick Bolton is athletically limited. Nick Bolton has missed time in his NFL career on several occasions. It might be that what the Kansas City Chiefs decide to do is allow Nick Bolton to walk in free agency, which will garner them a compensatory pick. They are very good at drafting linebackers. They are very good at finding linebackers as UDFA. If they decide to let Nick Bolton walk, they will get a pick and they will find themselves another linebacker. I like Nick Bolton. I love Hit Stick Nick. This is the nature of the business in the NFL. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Nick Bolton is the next guy to sign. I do not know, but I think that if you are prioritizing that list, probably Noah Gray is after Nick Bolton. Certainly Noah Gray is after Trey Smith. Neither Nick Bolton nor Trey Smith are re-signed while Noah Gray is. This tells me maybe there are financial constraints being taken into consideration on both of those guys, so you have to see what your budget looks like for next year. I think that is what this move was about, figuring out a little bit more around the edges what next year's budget will be, and knowing that you have some cheddar to spread at the tight end position. That is all that I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting a like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping daily Chiefs news, analysis, and opinion, and I hope to have you back for the next one.